As graduation nears for area high schoolers, the schools try to keep everyone healthy to host a traditional ceremony.
The president is in Philadelphia to sell his infrastructure plan and celebrate Amtrak's 50th anniversary. I'm Deborah Alfarone at the White House with that and Republican pushback about the price tag.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The KBI and Coffeyville police provide an update on a death investigation, and they've now confirmed it's a homicide. This is KOAM News at 5. Officers yesterday conducted a welfare check and found a deceased man in a home at 1709 South Spruce Street. The man has not been identified at last report. Authorities arrested a suspect, though formal charges have not yet been filed. Students across the 4 states are in the final stretch of high school. Over the next couple of weeks, thousands of seniors will walk across the stage during graduation ceremonies. It's something that many feel is well earned after another school year that was greatly impacted by the pandemic. A senior in Joplin says she's doing everything she can to make an appearance in person.
Watching big areas with people, trying to keep my mask on when I can, staying away from people I don't necessarily have to be around. It's a big accomplishment. You're really motivated by this time.
Nearly 500 seniors will graduate at the ceremony planned for May 16th. We're going to hear from more seniors and 2 local principals tonight at 6. A Joplin woman was surprised with a homecoming celebration today. Jen Parks was hospitalized with COVID-19 and on a ventilator for months. Today, she was released home after a long, tough battle with the virus. To celebrate, her friends and family surprised her at home with signs and prayers commemorating her return. They say her recovery is a miracle.
You know, not that when you pray things don't happen, but it was just such a miracle that, she was able to do as well as she's done and, be touched by God so completely.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear from Jen herself about her long journey to recovery. Checking in with Doug Heading now. Beautiful day out there, Doug.
Yeah, it's turned out to be a fantastic day across the region. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures great, right around 80 degrees, but you can see clear skies. Not too much is going on across the entire viewing area. You have to actually travel south before you even really find any clouds across the region. Here's our next wave. It's an upper level low that is spinning out across parts of Texas, and it's slowly going to head in our direction tomorrow night and into Sunday. But until then, we look pretty good. You can get outside and enjoy the evening. Temperatures are hanging out right around 80 degrees. The winds, they're not that strong. Now, they are going to start to pick up a bit as we go through the next couple days. So through the evening hours, we slide back through the 70s into the 60s. I think we'll bottom out right around 55 later on tonight. Of course, we're going to look at the weekend and our next chance for severe weather here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Doug. Public transit gets the spotlight today as the president and vice president hit the road for the second day in a row to sell the American Jobs Plan. President Biden's also celebrating the 50th anniversary of Amtrak, a service he used daily for more than 3 decades as a U.S. Senator from Delaware. That earned him the nickname Amtrak Joe. Reporter Deborah Alfarone has more from the White House.
Who doesn't plant trees in high heels?
After planting a tree on the White House lawn for Arbor Day, the First Lady joined President Biden on a trip to Philadelphia to mark Amtrak's 50th anniversary. The president even posted an older photo of himself riding the rails on Twitter.
Amtrak became my family.
The event also served as a backdrop for the president to promote his plans to help American families and rebuild infrastructure.
In my American Jobs Plan, I propose spending $10 billion a year on passenger rail and freight rail.
Administration officials also focused on infrastructure as they fanned out across the country Friday. Vice President Harris went to Cincinnati.
It is an investment in improving communities. It is an investment in increasing access to opportunity.
While in North Carolina, the vice president's husband and the transportation secretary met with union workers and visited a train station.
This administration is determined to build a better tomorrow.
Friday's big push is part of what the administration is calling the Getting Back on Track tour. It's an effort for President Biden to sell his infrastructure plan to the American people. The White House is also trying to win over Republicans in Congress, who've been critical of its $2 trillion price tag and a proposed tax increase on top earners to pay for it.
They don't have the votes, clearly, and so since they don't have the votes, they're talking to Republicans.
Senate Republicans have counter-offered their own infrastructure proposal, priced at less than $600 billion as negotiations continue. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
The Amtrak celebration is part of the president's Back on Track tour. Funerals are underway in Israel, where at least 45 people were crushed to death in a stampede at a religious festival. 4 of the dead are U.S. citizens. Authorities say about another 150 people were injured. Witnesses say a crowd packed into a narrow walkway, triggering a stampede when some people slipped on metal stairs. Some are blaming police for the stampede, saying they blocked off an important alleyway. 8 people are indicted in the alcohol-related death of an Ohio college student found unconscious after a fraternity party. They range in age from 19 to 23. 6 of the suspects are charged with involuntary manslaughter for the death of 20-year-old Bowling Green State University sophomore Stone Foltz in early March. An investigation found that fraternity members had forced pledges to each drink an entire bottle of alcohol during an off-campus hazing event. A little bit later, filling a void in the workplace.
Diners are returning to restaurants, but not all the workers are coming back. I'm Nancy Chen, and I'll tell you why restaurants are struggling to find employees.
But first, how Disneyland plans to keep customers safe now that it's reopened. Obesity greatly increases the risk of hospitalization or death due to COVID. That's according to a study in The Lancet that looked at health records of nearly 7 million people in England and found that weight plays a big role in how serious COVID cases are, especially for younger people. Patients 40 and younger had a 9% increased risk of severe COVID. Doctors say it highlights that young people need to get vaccinated. Coronavirus cases are surging again in the Pacific Northwest. Washington and Oregon are in what's being called a 4th wave, fueled by COVID-19 variants. In California, Disneyland is reopening after being closed for more than a year. Chris Martinez reports from Anaheim.
Variants of COVID-19 are behind a new uptick in cases in Washington and Oregon.
We have effectively a new threat, a more powerful and dangerous threat. This is not your grandmother's COVID.
Washington's governor has ordered many businesses and churches to reduce indoor capacity. Oregon's governor has extended a state of emergency, banning all indoor restaurant dining.
The governor has a tough job, and I don't begrudge that, but it's a little frustrating.
In the Pacific Northwest and in much of the country, vaccine doses outweigh demand. But Friday, the White House COVID-19 response team announced 55% of adult Americans have received at least one vaccine dose, and more than 100 million are fully vaccinated. Health officials are working with social media sites to reach the unvaccinated.
We still have way too much disinformation spreading on those sites, and it presents a clear and present danger, I believe, to people who need to be protected from COVID.
Here in California, Disneyland closed its mass vaccination center and is now reopened as a theme park, 13 months after it closed. Only state residents are allowed, reservations are required, and attendance is capped at 25%.
Guests must wear masks and maintain distancing while waiting in line and on rides. There won't be any parades, fireworks, or hugs from Disney characters, but visitors say they don't mind.
Everyone's just had a tough year, and we just need the magic just back in our lives, and this is it.
In a dramatic turnaround, California now boasts the lowest rate of COVID infections nationwide. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Anaheim, California.
Late today, the White House announced due to the high number of COVID-19 cases in India, travel restrictions will go into effect for people traveling to the U.S. from India starting on Tuesday. A new study shows the emotional toll COVID lockdowns had on children. A survey of Chicago public school students found a quarter of them were stressed, anxious, or agitated after remote learning began. 1/3 were described as lonely by caregivers. Data also showed the mental health issues had a greater impact on Black and Latino communities. Children exposed to higher levels of air pollution may be more likely to show signs of mental illness by the time they're 18. A study at Duke University tracked thousands of young adults in the UK. Those with a higher exposure to traffic-related air pollution had higher rates of mental health symptoms, including depression and anxiety. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the Commerce Department's out with the latest spending report for March.
Temperatures look great as we head into the weekend, but we are going to see some rain chances. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it's turned out to be a great Friday for us today. Temperature's fantastic. Most of us right around 80 degrees, but the allergies have shot right back up. On a scale of 1 to 10, today is a 10, tomorrow's a 10. So if you are an allergy sufferer, you're going to have some issues as we go through at least the next couple days. All right, temps outside right now, we're at 78 in Iola, 79 in Welch, 79 in Miami, 78 Anderson, up 49. Lamar is sitting at 79 degrees. And the winds have been fairly light, so that's always good news. But we are going to get southerly winds starting to pick back up as we go through the next couple days. But crystal clear, blue skies outside right now. At the station, we're sitting at 80. North winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is bone dry. It's at 31%. Through the evening hours, we'll slide back through the 70s, 60s. Nice night. We'll bottom out down into the mid-50s for overnight lows. Clear skies. Nothing is going on here. In fact, most of the Central Plains look pretty good. You have to travel south before you find the clouds. Some showers, some thunderstorms, parts of Texas. This is our next little wave. It is a cutoff low. Got cut off from this past system. So it's just kind of sitting down here in parts of Texas. You can see the upper level low right back just south of El Paso, but it's slowly going to migrate off toward the north as we go through the next couple days, and that will give us some rain chances. So let's go down the road. Watch the low, kicks out into Texas, and then finally starts to spin in by Sunday morning, and then by Sunday afternoon kind of pushes right on by. I think the greatest threat for any severe weather is going to stay to our south, but we may get a few thunderstorms. And then as this next wave comes in, this will give us a little bit of a severe threat as we go into Monday afternoon as that wave passes on through. So we do have some action we need to watch as we head into early next week. All right, for us tonight, looks good. By morning, a few clouds will start to increase. I think we'll have quite a bit of sunshine in the morning, but clouds really thicken up during the afternoon. It's still going to be a fantastic day. I would say partly sunny skies. Temps very similar to what we have seen today. 55 to start, 74 by noon, high temp of 80. It is going to be a little windy. We're going to have these south winds at about 10 to 20 during the afternoon. Tomorrow night, clouds continue to thicken. After midnight, we may get a random shower or two in here. Very light showers to start the day on Sunday. And then late morning into the early afternoon, we'll get a few pop-up thunderstorms across the region. Again, I don't really expect these to be severe, but we'll definitely keep our eyes on that. On Monday, here comes a cold front. So Monday afternoon, we could get some thunderstorms along the front. Some of those could be strong, possibly severe. So we need to watch Monday, and then just some leftover showers by the time Tuesday rolls around. Wednesday looks pretty good. Thursday, we get another little wave with some showers, and then Friday we warm up with another storm system. So a lot of action as we head through the next 7 days or so, but at least tomorrow looks great. 80 tomorrow, 75 Sunday, some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially late morning into the early afternoon. We need to watch Monday afternoon, 83 with some thunderstorms, and then quite a bit cooler Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then we warm back up late next week.
And lots of rain chances in the coming week. Thanks, Doug. Just ahead, restaurants struggle to find enough employees as customers return. First, though, we recognize a local World War II veteran. Fort Scott, Kansas native George Blinko served as a radio man for the U.S. Navy from 1940 to 46. He received and decoded a message about the Pearl Harbor attack, but his superior officer was certain it was an error. Chief Petty Officer George Blinko, a four-state hero. Top in Consumer Watch, paychecks are climbing and a lot of us are buying again. Americans spent $616 billion in March. That's up 4.2% according to the Commerce Department. Households shelled out money on a slew of goods and services like games, toys, and hobbies. A surge in incomes helped fuel the increase in spending. The government says personal incomes shot up more than 21%. A recall alert for some home sanitizers. Several lots of sensational hand sanitizers from the Black and White collection and Photo Real collection are being recalled after health authorities discovered methanol in them. The items were sold at TJ Maxx and Marshall's. Also on the list are 3 Ultra Beauty Collection scented sanitizer sprays. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is committed to starting up the U.S. cruise industry again by mid-summer. The agency just announced new steps to help get boats back to sailing. 98% of a ship's crew and 95% of passengers must be fully vaccinated in order to get the green light. With vaccinations increasingly available, millions of Americans are going out to eat again. But as reporter Nancy Chen tells us, restaurants nationwide are having trouble accommodating all their new customers because of an employee shortage.
Business is back at the Loft restaurant in Paulsville, Washington. Owners Sandy Colbanes and Michael Buchholz are serving up meals to a growing number of diners. But there's a key ingredient missing: workers.
This is the hardest it has ever been in my 30 years in this industry to find anyone to come and cook.
Establishments nationwide are facing staffing shortages at all positions. The Mill in upstate New York is offering gift cards to customers who help find new employees.
Our biggest fear is that we have this beautiful location and we're not going to have the manpower to have every part of it open.
When restaurants shut down last spring, many workers found jobs in different industries. For others, it pays more to stay home and collect government benefits.
Are there some folks who are earning more money on unemployment with the federal bonus right now? Absolutely. But there's also people that can't afford to work and need to be on unemployment because their kids aren't still back in school.
The shortages are forcing restaurants across the country to readjust their business model.
The owner of Nicoletta's in Florida can't find enough help, so he closes on Mondays.
I have to be able to not run them into the ground, run myself into the ground, so we need to take a day off, let everybody relax a little bit.
The Loft is staying open 7 days a week, but adjusting hours.
On weekends, we'd be open until 11 o'clock. Today, we're closing at 8:30 on Friday and Saturday nights because we don't have the staffing to make that happen.
The hope is workers will eventually return so business can return to normal. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more from a Joplin woman who was finally able to come home after battling COVID-19 for months. Plus, the Kansas Supreme Court today rules on a state law barring wrongful birth lawsuits. And Pitt State football and Kansas Special Olympics hold a victory day at Carney Smith Stadium. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Egyptian archaeologists have unearthed 110 ancient tombs near the Nile Delta. They date back to 3 civilizations, the oldest from more than 5,000 years ago. According to the Antiquities Ministry, the discovery includes 68 oval-shaped pits cut into the sandy ground containing the remains of people buried in a squatting position. Archaeologists also found the remains of a baby buried inside a pottery vase. Other discoveries on the site include pots, prayers written on plates, ovens, stoves, remnants of brick buildings, crockery, amulets, and earrings. Checking back with Doug. Nice evening and a nice day ahead of us, Doug.
Yeah, the next several hours will slowly drop through the 70s. And then for us tonight, about 55, 80 tomorrow, a little breezy. We'll start to get a few showers in here late tomorrow night and then a few scattered thunderstorms Sunday. A few stronger storms by Monday.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll be right back here at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.